Hey guys, I'm Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network. Hey everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we this Tuesday morning? It has been an eventful week already, but we are here today, and I'm excited to be here with you guys this morning. We are going to be discussing the Mica Miller case today. Everybody just, I'm fine. Yeah, we're good. We're all good. We're going to be discussing the Mica Miller case today. It is a brand new case that has been hitting the circuit. It is a pastor's wife out of South Carolina who was found unalived in a park, and they believe they're ruling it a self-unaliving due to a GUN shot to the head, but the pastors, parishioners, and the family and friends of Mica Miller do not believe that this is the truth. They say that there were lots of problems in the marriage, that she had already filed for divorce 2 days beforehand, that he was misappropriating funds for the church, and she knew about it, and that she had made numerous calls, posts, and everything else about her being in a domestic violence situation. And she even made a post that said, if a BULLET, I don't know, I remember how to spell it, but the thing that goes inside the GUN ends up in my head, I didn't do it, which I think is really interesting. So I'm just going to kind of go through what we know so far, what happened. I have heard about the journal. Yes, I've heard about the journal. And so I'm just going to kind of go through this. You guys can ask your questions as we go. You guys are welcome to hit the box. I am willing to have discussion over this case today. So, but I just, this is a very sad case, extremely sad, heartbreaking, upsetting case. And, it reminds me very much of Tammy Daybell. Tammy Daybell was ruled natural causes, and it was very suspicious. And it was a larger part of a bigger plot to murder more people so that these two people could run off into their destiny of being, exalted ones. And so this is really giving that kind of vibe to me. And I'm also feeling, I did see the video of her in Africa. I do believe that sorry, my husband just texted. I got distracted. Just hang on a second. My God, stop. Hold on. Sorry. He's being funny today. Okay. I do believe that there are questions in this case. I believe that this is more along. I know what I was saying. This reminds me very much of a Susan Cox Powell situation with Josh Powell, and a heavy religious, tint to this. He's a pastor of a church in South Carolina. I'm sorry, I'm trying to turn my chair. It's weird. There we go. Sorry, guys. So we're going to walk through it. If you are joining us over here on TikTok, I am not going to post the actual photos and things that I'm using. If you would like to see those photos, you can go over to our YouTube channel and watch the live replay. You can find it on YouTube and Facebook. And you can, we're on Twitch, but I guess it doesn't save the live, but I will make sure I upload it there later. I'm definitely going to start uploading this to Twitch and Rumble and all the different places for you guys, so you guys can watch the live replays. We are going to be getting away from lots of live content. We'll probably only be doing a couple of shows a week live. Everything else is going to be more produced content for you guys. I want to do shorter segments. I want to do, repurpose some of our content so you guys can see what we've done in the past and where we are today, and start sharing all the other things besides gyp shit and her bull crap, because that is not how we built our company. That was one story that we were involved in and that we told. And yes, we are the leading experts based on our knowledge, our information, our investigation, and the discovery of the chromosome disorder that blows that case apart. But today, we are just trying to get away from that drama and talk about more important cases than Gypsy Rose. Thank you. I appreciate it, Been right. So today we're going to talk about Mica Miller. I've given you a little bit of information back on it. If you want to hit the box or StreamYard, I have posted for you guys to join. So let's get into it. So, and I'm reading from different reports. I have not had a chance to do a deep dive on this. I definitely am going to. One of my friends who is a content creator, Conspiracy, has been very much covering this. Hey, Alicia, has been covering this case and diving in where I have not had a chance to yet. So if you do not follow Conspiracy, I would definitely go over and follow her. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, that one girl. I'm glad you found us again. And guys, just remember, this is my personal account over here on TikTok right now. But we now have a brand new Good Wives account over here on TikTok, and it's Good Wives Net 2, the number 2. And we will be posting all kinds of content on there. It will not be true crime all related. It will be all different pieces of content that we and our content creators that work with us all create. So I'm super excited about that. And remember, we've got the book coming out at the end of this month. We have 2 other books planned on the subject. We're working on the documentary series, and we have a launch of our network back onto Roku, Amazon, and Android coming June, July. We have to see how long it's going to take for them to get it set up once we put everything in there. So we're working on that now. Okay. On a military broadcast last night, a lot of people are interested. Yeah, that's what I mean, my husband is who brought this case to me, and he literally showed it to me while we were walking into church, and he said, this is going to be your next big case. That's the case you need to talk about. This is an important case. You need to be talking about this. And it's all over everywhere, so you should jump on it. And once I started diving in and reading it, and I consumed all of Conspiracy's little videos on it, and I want to thank her. She's done an amazing job of telling the story so far. But I just think that this is going to be a story that it's going to hit the news circuit over and over again, because I think people are going to demand that they reopen it. I think that nobody is going to be satisfied with what has happened so far. I mean, I haven't got into it yet, but it's, yes, cinnamon hot. It sounds like, hey, Fancy, sounds like this pastor had a long history of going after children, sicko, and his dad was in prison for labor fraud, bringing people into this country to work for nothing, ad solicitation. Yeah, I heard all that today too. And remember, guys, this is all allegedly, in our opinions, for entertainment, educational purposes only. So we are, we're looking into this right now. We can only report on what we're seeing coming out in the news. But we are definitely diving in deep. So if you are anyone that is connected to Mica Miller or the parishioners, or know anything about this case that is not out there in mainstream media necessarily, I would love for you to hit us up at tipsforgoodwives@gmail.com. We're very interested in learning more and speaking with you. I understand that he had a first wife. I understand that I guess he and Micah met while he was her youth pastor. She began babysitting for the family, according to sources. And thank you, Sal. I appreciate that. What am I thinking? They got, and then after he divorced his wife, they ended up getting married. So he cheated on his first wife, and now this wife is unalived. Like I said, this is reminiscent of so many cases. Like, this reminds me of Drew Peterson, Robert Durst, and it's so funny because some of those cases are resurfacing right now, and like the Durst case is coming back right now. So we're watching Jinx too, but this case, I think, it's going to go far and wide, because I think that people are really, really concerned and do not feel that justice has been served here. I am not aware of what he did in Pakistan, outlandish history, but thank you for bringing that up. I will continue to look into that. So let's get into this here, and bring this down here. No, what are you doing? No, wait, no, go over here. And then that can go there. That way I can read and see what is happening here. Oh, no. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm going to start with the first one. This news report came out of WBTW News 13. It is a timeline, and it says what's happened so far in the death of Myrtle Beach woman Mica Miller. It says, following is a timeline in the case of Mica Miller, a Myrtle Beach woman and former pastor's wife who was found dead in Robeson County. On April 25th, John Paul Miller is served with divorce papers. John Paul Miller was served with divorce papers just 2 days before Micah's body was found in Robeson County, according to an affidavit filed by Sierra Francis, who is Micah's sister. I have seen these documents floating. I will find these documents and post them probably up on here. And then always, everything that we cover, all the cases, anything that we have inside documents, anything like that, will always be in our Patreon. So, thank you very, very much. So then on April 27th, Mica Miller is found dead in Robeson County. Mica Miller, she's 30 years old, was found dead in the Orem community of Robeson County on April 27th. The Robeson County Sheriff's Office told News 13. Authorities said, oh, dang it, just minimized it. Come on, no, come on. Authorities said their investigation did not indicate that there was a danger to the public. On April 28th, John Paul Miller announces Micah's death. And it's at the end of his sermon that John Paul announces Micah's death to the congregation. In it, he states, I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I don't have to worry about the church. John Paul said before announcing her death, my break may be a few days, a few weeks. I don't know. Well, I'm going to play that for you guys here. I got to figure out which one it is. Hold on. I have that sermon, so just give me a second. I'm finding it for you guys. Just give me a second, guys. I know I have it here. Where did I? Oh, here it is. Okay, I think it's this one. Is this it? Yes. Okay, so Daily Mail. Okay. So this is coming from the Daily Mail. Share screen. You guys won't be able to see it over here, but you'll be able to hear it. Then you guys can always come over here on YouTube and watch. So let's see if that's the, okay, good. Hold on. Technical difficulties here because I can't see what I'm doing because I'm trying to minimize something. There we go. Okay, so here we go. We're going to play this real quick.
Print provides hundreds of ways to grow your business.
That's fat.
with easy design tools, fast.
Okay, here we go.
We're not going to do an altar
hold
call
on.
today. Instead, we're not going to do an altar call today. Instead, I'm going to have you stand up, and I'm going to make an announcement. And after the announcement, I'm going to ask that you leave church quietly and don't talk about the announcement here in the building, please, if you can. So y'all can stand to your feet. Before I make the announcement, I also want to say that my request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give for the next, little bit. 'Cause I don't want to I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks. I don't know. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away. And yeah, it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina. And we're going to have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m. And so it's all I can, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now. So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her. And so I'm sure there'll be more details to come, but just keep our family in your prayers. And I'm going to let Pastor Randall, my bishop, he can pray. I'll get him a microphone to pray out. And if you have anything you want to share as well, I appreciate it.
Come on, let's pray.
Okay, so that
Photoshop's generative filming.
Okay, so that was him that Sunday morning, and I believe
It's super easy to
this was actually prior to them finding her body. That's what
remove tricky objects from
God,
photos.
this is
All I need to do is grab the
You're closing the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. And this is, I'm going to show you guys what she looks like too. Share screen. We've got a lot of pretty pictures of her, but hold on. Why is it not finding this one? News Nation. Hold on, guys. I'm working on it, guys. I want to put her picture up for you. There we go. No. There. Is that it? Oh, why can I not find it? So, hopefully that's the right one. Is that it? Yes. Okay. So this is Micah. And her friends have said, I don't believe the alleged unaliving, self-unaliving. Read the family affidavits they filed to be over her estate. Yes, I saw that. I did see that. I have not pulled those yet. Like I said, I have not gotten a chance to really look into this case at all yet. It is a very preliminary thing. I was told about it 2 days ago. I've watched Conspiracy and I've been reading some news articles. So we have not gotten a chance to really even look at this case. I did see the family affidavits. I heard some of it when Conspira wrote, when Tiff freaking read some of them. I heard all that. So, but I would like to do more research before I really get fully into this case. Like I said, this is just a preliminary, an introduction to the case that we're going to be talking about. So yeah, let me go back to the timeline though here so we can do that. So they find her dead, and after the sermon, that's what he does. So then on May 5th, they have a memorial tribute pour in from Micah. So hundreds of people on Sunday paid tribute to Mica Miller, whose body was found last week at Lumber River State Park in Robeson County. Her husband, John Paul Miller, was pastor of the Solid Rock Church in Market Common. I guess they did find her body the day before, but he announced it that morning. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know if I have that wrong or not. I have heard reports, though, that he actually announced it before they found her. So I just want to make sure I have my timeline correct, but those are just the different reports I've heard. On May 5th, John Paul released from ministerial duties amid Micah's death investigation. The pastor of a Myrtle Beach church whose wife was found dead in Robeson County has been released, according to an email obtained by News 13 that was sent to church members on Sunday. I, Charles Randall, by the authority vested in me as overseer, hereby release Pastor John Miller from all ministerial functions for a time of healing, counsel, and guidance pursuant to our governing instrument, the email reads. May 6th, the police report shows Micah has GPS tracker placed on her car weeks before her death. So she was making reports to the police weeks leading up to this self-unaliving, and she was claiming that somebody had slashed her tires. She had claimed that there were tracking devices put on her vehicles. She was in fear for her life, she told people. So this was, it wasn't just out of the freaking blue. And thank you guys for tapping and sharing. Please keep doing that. Oh my gosh, we hit our subscription goal. Wow. Thank you guys. Oh, no, I don't know why it said we did, but okay, there we go. Oh, okay. Add new goal. I guess we did. Okay, there we go. I don't know. I don't understand. And we also have the subscription goals up there, guys. So you guys can do subscriptions, all of that. And we're going to be starting to put that together. Okay. Yes, but the stalker is redacted. Okay. Okay. So yeah, he owns that church and property. He's not going anywhere unless he is arrested or starts another one. Okay, so he owns that one. That's his actual church. I know he did some work in Africa, which was confusing for all of us. We thought this, somebody, Pink Cat Sarah was like, I think he's in Africa. I was like, no, ma'am, no, he's not. He might have done a mission in Africa, but is redacted in the paperwork. I see. Hey, everybody, when she thought they slashed her tires, it was a deflating mechanism that the auto shop found, and they found the tracking device. Oh, okay. Interesting. So a Myrtle Beach woman found dead last week in Robeson County had a tracking device placed on her car that was discovered after she took it to a dealership, there you go, to repair a tire that had been slashed, according to Horry County police reports. Mica Miller, 30, made 2 complaints in March 11th, the first coming after her vehicle's tire was found slashed near Spring-Made Pier, the report said. And then the second complaint, filed hours later, came after Miller took her vehicle to East Coast Honda on Highway 17 bypass to have the tire repaired. The police report indicates that the suspect in both incidents was a male. The suspect's identity is redacted in both reports, but Miller said she noticed strange activity in what she believes is people following or watching her. Miller also told officers that the suspect has a history of similar actions against her. Thank you, Amber. Thank you. Oh, supposedly his wife ran off with his money and started a school in Africa, according to his sermon. Wow. Okay, so he says May 6th, 2 of Mica Miller's siblings allege in court documents that their sister feared for her life amid divorce proceedings. Micah stated to me on many occasions, if I end up with a bank in my head, it was JP, Micah's sister said. Sierra Francis said in an affidavit asking to be named the special administrator of Micah's estate. JP refers to Micah's husband, John Paul Miller, a senior pastor at the Solid Rock Church in Market Common. Francis said her sister told her that people were following her and indicated that her husband had hired people to follow her. The affidavit also alleges that John Paul transferred assets, including the deed to their home, to one of his sons, and moved his wife's personal belongings from their home while she was undergoing treatment at a mental health facility. So she starts uncovering things that he doesn't like, and he literally has her committed. And he claims that she has bipolar disorder. He claims that she's schizophrenic, and her friends and family are saying, no, she is not. And that he has made this up, and that this is not the truth. And so, like I said, we don't know yet. We're still looking into this, but that's a very interesting case. Yeah, I think the 501c3 should definitely be investigated. Let's see here. So here's some more information. Let me play this one. What's this News Nation one? Hold on.
Well, he basically, I think, echoes what a lot of people are feeling at this time, which is like really just troubled. He knows both of them. A lot of people.
I want to see the video of her talking, because there's a video where she's talking about what's going on. Well, anyway, sorry. So, I think it's super suspicious that he did his entire sermon instead of, I understand you have, okay, look, I understand you're a pastor. You have a calling to your flock. I understand that you're supposed to be shepherding them. I get that it's a very big responsibility, but how could you stand up there and give an entire sermon like nothing has happened, and then turn to your congregation, tell them that you're going to drop this fucking bombshell on them, and then have the audacity, two entire sermons that day, 2 services before he makes this announcement. Thank you for clarifying outlandish history. That's great. And you guys, we do have our super chat going. We do appreciate any time that you feel like you want to give and support what we're doing here. You can do so right here on YouTube. You can do so here on TikTok. You can buy us a coffee over on Buy Me a Coffee at Good Wives Net, and you can join our Patreon membership club, or you could buy some of our amazing merch over on the Good Wives Network. So if you're wanting to support us, please do. We appreciate it. We work on a voluntary basis. Everything we do here basically is us funding it. So, but anyway, I was wondering, I feel my interview with Natasha, it should be up on her Rumble channel, honey, but we're not talking about that today. Okay, Andrea, no offense. It's not your fault that you're asking, but we will not be talking about that at all. We have said what we were going to say about that situation, and we will not be addressing it further. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you. And if you can't find it, I'm going to see if I can get it up on our channel too. I'm going to talk to Natasha. Anyway, got you. Okay, back to this. I think it's highly suspicious that he does these 2 sermons as if nothing is wrong. Absolutely nothing is wrong, right? Not a thing. I'm just preaching the word of the God. I'm just standing in front of my freaking community, the house of the Lord, and I'm standing with my community, my parishioners that are supposed to be here like I am for them. This is supposed to be where I come and be uplifted by my parishioners, as a pastor, as well as uplifting them. That's what this is for. And here he is, he's just preaching the word, and then he turns to his congregation at the end, tells them he's going to make this announcement. They have no clue what's fucking coming. And then he just drops on them. Not only does he say, oh, she passed away, he starts to freaking talk about her mental health, that she had horrible mental health problems and that he couldn't get her medicine to her. And I just feel like that's really suspicious. And why is he saying that, in the congregation and sharing that part when your wife is just now passed away? Why would you not, take the day and ask your other pastor to shepherd your flock while you heal yourself? This is crazy. Exactly. I feel like it was to cover his tracks. He also said, don't talk about this as you're going out of the building. Right. So he doesn't even want his parishioners to be able to discuss it where they feel safe, and they should be able to, because they're in their community, in their house of the Lord, and they can't talk about this with their other parishioners. They can't gather and be together in their grief in that moment. I just, it's awful. Yeah, I agree. He wasn't in the house of the Lord. He has taken her to church many times, as if you know what I mean, in his sermons. He would talk about her mental health and berate her and put her down and say these horrible things. And I've seen some of those. And I am just, if your preacher is talking about not being able to forgive people and having them followed, as well as wanting to use a bazooka on his enemy, and he's not the real deal. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Absolutely. So, Here's a statement. He says, y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. You all knew she wasn't well mentally and she needed medicine that was hard to get to her. How is her medicine hard to get to her? You're not in a third world fucking country unless she was at the time. But no, she wasn't. She was in South Carolina. So what the hell are you talking about? Her freaking medicine is hard to get to her. Do you mean she refused to take it? Because that's a whole different thing. Not hard to get to her. You're acting like you couldn't drive it to her sister's house, or she couldn't go to Walgreens and pick it up. I don't understand that statement at all, but let's go on. I'm sure there will be more details to come, but keep her family in your prayers. He didn't even say keep me in your prayers, keep our children in your prayers. No, keep her family in your prayers. That's an odd choice of wording there, I think. What do you all think? Yeah, he didn't want to do an altar call. That is the exact time to do an altar call, right? Right. So, however, her family and friends say otherwise, urging police to deeply investigate what happened. I understand there's a journal. She had been calling in police reports. This was an ongoing situation. It was well known that this was happening. And I cannot believe, it's the same live, baby. It's the same live, KL. I cannot believe that there is nothing else. They've ruled it a self-inflicted GUN shot at this point in time, to my understanding. I'm not quite sure where it is. I've heard the head. I've also heard the chest. So I just want to make sure that I got all the facts right before I make all those kinds of claims. But yes, I think they're ruling it self-inflicted. And all of her family and friends say no way. She was making plans. She was getting her own place. She was doing all of these things, and she was planning for future plans of what we were going to do the next day with her friends. It just does not add up. This does not add up. Just like Chris Rogers didn't add up. Just like Susan Cox Powell didn't add up. Just like the Vallows with their children did not add up. These stories are so weird because, I don't understand why people think that they can get away with this stuff. And it just not, maybe back in the day when we didn't have social media to call this out, I think that us as social media I don't think they found the pew pew yet. Calling out, she made a hair appointment. I think that social media, calling out the mainstream media, calling out corruption in our justice system is the only way we're going to see freaking justice return to our country. Because right now, folks, we are in a crisis. Our country is in crisis. There is not one single piece of our daily lives that is not chaotic, crazy, infected with evil and moralistic problems. We are in crisis. This is a country, a nation, a world in crisis. And this is what is happening. You are seeing more and more of this as we allow these things to continue while we stand by and say nothing. You all want to know why I'm so hard on the Gypsy Rose story. You want to know why? Because it's a lie, and the mainstream media is promoting that lie knowingly. And it's a dangerous lie. And that lie leads to more lies. And that's how we've got the freaking cover up in Hollywood. We've got the P. Diddy situation going on. We've got Quiet on the Set going on. It's on and on. And this is how if we don't call a stop for these things, if we don't call a stop and tell everybody, these are not the things we're going to stand for. We're not going to let this happen. We are going to lose anything and everything we've ever worked for in our entire lives, our grandparents' lives, our forefathers' lives. So I can't imagine, I don't understand what is happening in this country right now, that we're exalting murderers, and we are, we're not investigating, and there's just so many things. The justice system is broken. All the systems are broken at this point. And it's heartbreaking when you see a case like this where you're like, I'm sorry, I don't think it's as closed and shut as they are making it. I don't know if they've closed it already, if it's completely closed, if there will be any other investigation into it. But if there's not, I believe that they definitely should keep looking at this case. I don't think that, it's cut and dry like they're making it. Her friends went on to say Tim Carter, a friend of Mica Miller and her widower, told News Nation Rich McHugh that he has a gut feeling Micah didn't commit self-unaliving. Don't believe it for a minute, Carter said. A friend of Mica Miller and her widower. I wonder if that's her first husband. Does anybody know if Tim Carter is Micah's first husband? Because I do know she was married before as well. Similarly, Mica Miller's former friend Ken and Alice Young said they absolutely believe that Micah did not take her life. Let's play that one real quick. Let's go ahead and play that real quick.
Also want to bring in two people who knew Micah and John Paul very well. Ken and Alicia Young were members of the...
Hold on, it's buffering. Why are you buffering? What is your problem? Let me refresh. Let's see if that helps. What is it doing? It's like totally freaking out.
Also want to bring in two people who knew Micah and John Paul very well. Ken and Alicia Young were members of the Solid Rock Church, and they often socialized with Micah and with John Paul. Thank you to both of you for doing this. If I can, Ken, let me start with you. You were a worship leader at this church. You were there 2019 to 2020. You socialized with this couple, Micah and John Paul. You went to movies. Can you describe for me what their relationship was like?
First of all, thank you for having us on. But, you know, it's kind of a loaded question. When we first met them, you know, I saw what, you know, on the surface, it seemed to be a happy relationship. There were just some things that I saw. So I got to know them more in ways that he would speak to her at times, and just was just kind of red flags. I can't say it was one particular incident, just like, oh my gosh, it was just kind of a consistent way that he treated her. And honestly, in some ways, he kind of treated a lot of women that way from what I saw.
So I want to ask you something. I know that you have mentioned before that one of the things that you really disliked about this church and the leadership of this church in particular was that there was, quote, immorality, hypocrisy among the leadership. With that in mind, it's a little astounding to learn that he met her when she was 14 as a member of the youth group, like the youth program there, and he was married with, I think, 5 kids. So was there did he have an affair with Micah and leave his wife and children to be with her? And if that's the case, how old was she when he did that?
So I remember a specific conversation that I'd had with him when that was brought up. And it was because I'd heard about that. Like there were rumors, you know, going around that their relationship even started in infidelity and things like that. And in my conversation with him, he did basically confirm that. He did not get into her age. What he said to me point blank was that she was in my youth group. We became friends. Over time, it became kind of something more. And that was probably the gist of it as far as I can remember now. I mean, it's been years ago, but it was a little concerning. And there were other members of the church.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were other members.
That's very concerning, right?
Oh, very, yes. And there were other members of the church, though, that when I asked about it, that it was just kind of, it's something that kind of just everybody knew and accepted. And,
So let me ask you this, because you might give it a pass once, and maybe not. I mean, I wouldn't, but okay, some people might. They might get over it. But as I understand it, he's married, he has children, he meets a 14-year-old, eventually gets married to that older 14-year-old in her early 20s. And I don't know, Alicia, if you can add to this, but he then allegedly begins another affair with the church member who has a husband who uses a wheelchair, who mysteriously ended up dead and drowned in a pool. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Oh my!
That's what we've been told.
I had not heard that
People
part.
who have reached out. We've spoken to former church members. We've spoken to current church members, and people, and also family. It's kind of common knowledge, and that's kind of why it's the head scratcher. And because it's like, if it's common knowledge, why hasn't something been said? But basically, what we've been told by people, Ashley, is that that he groomed her from a young age, and married her when he was able to, and but I will say that when I met them, on the surface, at least at that point in time, it seemed like a fairly healthy marriage. She didn't seem like.
Can I ask? Yeah, can I ask this, Alicia? I guess that the essential question here, Alicia, is: do you believe that it is at all possible that your friend Micah took her own life, or do you suspect that her pastor estranged husband is at fault here?
I absolutely do not believe that she took her own life, because she was energetic and her faith in God was unwavering. And she was always quick to encourage somebody else, including myself. We went to lunches together. We worked out together. Just the things that I do know about John Paul, I truly do not believe that she took her own life. I do not.
Thank you for watching.
Okay, so that was the Ashley Banfield show, which I'm freaking irritated I even had to show Ashley Banfield. We are not friends. She did me dirty over the Blanchards, and it's how TikTok ended up with me. So TikTok, News Nation's loss, your gain. But anyway, guys, if you'd like to talk a little bit more about this, if you have questions, I'd love to have an actual conversation with you guys about this. So if you'd like, you can come up into the box. You can come up over here on StreamYard. I'd really, really like to, to have this discussion, to open this up, because it's a topic that I feel. Wait, what's the Ashley story? As for another day. It's not for today. I don't want to talk about it today. We're not going to cloud Micah's story with that story. How about that? We did say we've made some comparisons, but I don't want to share that today. Okay, Thumper, but I will be sharing it later. We've talked about it before. It'll definitely be in our books and documentaries. But we've talked about it in the past, and we will talk about it again, but I don't want to talk about that today, if that's okay with you. So thank you. But, Starlight, you're here. Do you want to come up in the box? Anybody want to come up in the box? I really want to have a conversation today, guys. I'm trying. So if you can't get in the box, please type some comments. This is the time that we can do Q&A. Let's talk about this case. What have you read? What do you think's going on here? Do you believe the pastor? Do you believe her family and friends? JP even did her husband's funeral. So and according to them, her husband was a paraplegic and died at the pool by himself, and that seems suspicious. And then JP does her thanks, Robin. Yeah, come on over. Definitely. I want to have this discussion. I love to talk. I love presenting these cases to you guys, but the reason we do the lives is because I like the interaction with y'all. So come on over. Absolutely. And hit the box, and we'll talk. Yeah. So, what town is this case taking place in? It's in South Carolina. Let me, and it's in Horry County, I believe, but she was found in Robeson County. So I'll have to get the exact details for it, and I'm gonna see if we can start putting any type of FOIA request in for any of the domestic violence calls or anything else that she was reporting at the time. So I'm hoping that we can we can get more information as we go through this. I don't think this is a case that's just going to go away quickly. So, anyway, all right. Cookie Cat, you want to come up and talk? But I mean, what are your thoughts, guys? What do you think? How are you feeling? I think he 100% did it. Even the way he announced her passing the church was strange. Yes. Look, I understand, like I said earlier, I understand the dedication to your flock, supposedly, but when you're telling your flock not to forgive people and you're telling them that you want to punch somebody or use a bazooka on somebody, or that's not God. That's not God's way. That's not what God says to do. God says turn the other cheek. God says walk the hell away. God says, I don't deny it. God says no, don't. You don't. This is. It's always hard when it gets into the religious aspect of these types of cases. Is the Susie the new quote unquote mistress who says that she's not his mistress, but that she saw her pastor hurting and he was alone and he was having a problem, so she sat down and shared a meal with him, and that they're not together, right? Yeah, that's the girl. Hey, Liquid, how are you? Liquid Zion?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. It's good morning. So what about this case? What questions do you have? What do you think?
Even if she, ended it herself, he has something to do with it.
Yeah.
He was constantly telling her that she was crazy, that she was delusional. I mean, just constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, he tormented her pretty much to death. Is what I see.
Well, yeah.
But honestly, I think he did it.
Yeah, I think
he just tried to make it look like she did.
I mean, from what we're seeing right now, I would say that there's a good possibility that could be true. I don't want to say that and be like, oh, he did it, without at least more information. It's so early in how far this has come. But, you're talking about that, and he's always on her, and he talked about her unaliving herself tendencies all the time, to anybody who would listen. That is a tactic that narcissists use, covert narcissists, especially in intimate partner violence situations. They use that as a tactic to control them and make them look crazy to their family and friends. So when something does happen, all the family and friends go, oh, well, we saw that coming. It's a tactic for them to isolate them away from their family. It's a tactic to isolate them from their friends, their community, the people that they would be leaning on, because it basically, takes them away from everybody and does not allow them to have that time period, and it's when you're dealing with a narcissist, and I do believe that is, what we're looking at right now is a covert narcissist at that, based on just his body language, the things that he says, how he behaves, all of those different things. I've looked at all of that so far. So I think definitely he had a part in it. Again, if it's not him actually doing it, then we have to come along the conversation of like Conrad Roy and Michelle Carter, where what exactly, how culpable could she be with sending him texts every freaking day telling him to unalive himself, So
exactly.
Yeah. Every bit of info she had on him from her phone and laptop while she was in the hospital. Yeah.
Don't talk about this after I tell you, but I want you to keep contributing to the church.
Yeah.
Well, he wants them to do that because he's benefiting from it.
Right. That's his money he's getting. And the longer that he can stay in charge, the longer that he gets to continue to collect. And now he's been, obviously, while the investigation was going on, they had suspended him. But now that they've ruled it, self-inflicted, I wonder if he's been granted his duties back yet, and if he's returned back to work. I have not heard yet.
From what I read this morning, he hasn't. Like, they have suspended him for like the near future.
Wow. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, they can call him out on a lot of clauses here, and if now we're talking about, there's another woman, who he's ended up, having a relation with, and that was weird, another affair that we're hearing about. This guy does not seem like he was a pastor on the godly path at all, and he's leading his flock into damnation by that. Like, it's horrible, and encouraging his members to do radical things. Not good.
I agree. And you're going to hear, I bet, not too long from now that, him and that other chick are together now.
Yep.
And it's because she was
comforting him through his grieving time. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's coming. We know that,
Because they're already together.
Yeah, right. That's it. She was 14 and he was also 19, this new girl that's come out. Oh. Huh.
That doesn't surprise me either.
No, it doesn't. None of this surprises me. That's the thing. The sad thing is that none of this surprises me in any case anymore. Like, as much as I dealt with going through Gypsy's case, and then we investigated, I think Colleen and I have probably covered 50, 60 cases since then, in good details, because we like to do the deep dives. These cases are just, they're interesting,
They really are, but there are way too many of them.
There's too much going on. No, and you know what? I feel like COVID really played a part in creating these environments for enhanced DV to be swept under the rug. They, and it was heightened through this period of time where, in a general situation, usually the abuser or the abusee goes to work, or leaves for the day and gets out. But when we had COVID, we were trapped in these homes during these situations. And it was very dangerous, and I just feel like, one, our law enforcement are not equipped to understand these types of cases necessarily. They see, something like with Gabby Patillo, where she's freaking out and this is calm as a cucumber over there. And, they're saying, oh my God, she's the erratic one. No, if you walk up on a situation like that and you know anything about psychology, the person you should be very concerned about is the person that's over there having no reaction to their spouse freaking the hell out.
Exactly.
Not the person who's freaking out.
They had to have done
something. She can't be that agitated for nothing unless she's completely 100% off her rocker. And then you should have admitted her, like the police should have been like, okay, we're admitting you because we're really worried about you, not tell you, well, you can either go stay in a hotel or you can get back in the car with the person you're claiming is abusing you. That's not good. So, I feel like in these situations, they go ignored for so long, and
it goes back to the whole, they believe the men.
Yes.
Yep. Women are irrational. They're hysterical. They're too emotional. That's what it all goes back to.
Right. When, you always got to ask what drove that person to there. You can't just go up and look and just be like, yeah, okay, she's crazy because he says so. No, just like he's telling his pastor, the parishioners, he's over here. John Paul's telling his parishioners, oh, she's got abuse problems. She's schizophrenic. She's got bipolar disorder. Her mental health isn't well. He puts her in a freaking mental institution because she leaves him. Or I can't remember what he put her in the institution for. I have to look that up again, but it was so super suspicious. He puts her in a freaking institution and then moves all of her stuff out of the house. Like, Where did
Yeah,
you think she was
put her in
going?
the institution because she left and went to her sister's.
Right, that's what I
And
thought.
then he picked her up from her sister's. He took her directly to the institution and had her committed.
On what grounds, though?
I don't think they ever said it in the article that I read. I've read a lot of
Yeah, see, I
articles
can't
last,
figure
like,
out what
2
the grounds
days.
were. I'm like, you can't just, unless she's completely a danger to herself, you can't just have her committed like that.
I think that's what he said. I think he said that she was suicidal.
But I don't understand, if there's no proof of that, then he wiped her electronics while she was there. Right, exactly. So this was his part. Hey, Laura, do you know how, or does anyone know what's the difference between the time period between her being put into this mental institution, wiping her phone, moving all of her stuff out of the house, to her actual death? Do we know that yet? I don't know. The one I read said she was having a major anxiety attack during the time he brought her to the hospital. Well, he probably drove her there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what narcissists and covert narcissists, that's what they do. Sociopaths. They push you, and 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 they push you until you snap, and then they go, look how you're behaving. Well, hello. You just pushed me all the way over here and almost tipped me over, and now you want to freaking call me out on it. It's called reactive abuse. Yes. And it's become a new tactic in the new age of social media and cell phones and all of these things. It's actually, there's a new study being done with covert narcissists and IPV that, it's the recording, pushing you to this breaking point and then hitting the camera and recording you and making you look crazy, putting these out to your family, your friends, on social media, everywhere, so that anytime you try to call and say anything about that person to anyone, nobody will ever freaking believe you. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's how they turn everyone against you.
Exactly.
That's how they isolate.
They have to isolate you. Yes. I understand. It's a tactic. Like I said, it's these people all have tells. They all have patterns. It doesn't come out of nowhere. And we have to get better at seeing these warning signs. She filed 4 days. She passed 4 days after filing the no contact order. What'd you say, Liquid?
I said people that are like in authority need to get better at recognizing those signs, because I may recognize the signs of something happening to you, but if the police officer that shows up or the EMS people that show up can't recognize that,
right,
then you're the one they're going to assume is going crazy and needs to be removed from the situation.
Right. Meanwhile,
that just gives the other person
more power
over you.
More power.
Because they assume you're having a mental crisis.
Yep. It is terrible. And then you go in there and you try to explain to the therapist, the whatever, the people that are supposed to be helping you, what's really going on, and they don't believe you because you're in there because you're crazy. And so they try to convince you, I don't think that's what happened. He really loves you. He was so concerned for you. He called and wanted you to get better. No, he didn't. That's not what he wanted. That is not at all what he wanted. He wanted to make me look crazy to everybody else, so nobody else would go, well, when she shows up dead tomorrow, she obviously did it because, look, she was just in the hospital, for it. So it's a long-term thing. And I think we're going to find that this was not just something that happened overnight, that this was probably a long-term domestic abuse situation that she was in. And I know that she's made a lot of those claims already,
going on.
Yeah. He was a very inappropriate man doing inappropriate things, I think. Well, anyway, guys, I think I'm going to hop off unless anybody else wants to hit the box and discuss. I will be back maybe later today, and I'm not sure what Pink Cat Sarah and I are planning. Thanks, Zion, for coming up in the box with me. Appreciate you. So, guys, just some updates real quick before we close this out. We will be covering this case as it unfolds. We are still covering Delphi. We're covering Crystal Rogers. I have a couple other new cases that have hit the circuit that we're looking at. Thank you, Miranda. Hi, baby. Hello, everyone. Thank you so very much. we've got the book coming out at the end of this month, The Good Wives Guide to True Crime, the companion to, and I'm fixing it. As soon as I end here, I will fix the shipping on that so you guys can go over and order your autographed copies, your pre-order your autographed copies over there if you want the hardback. If you want the ebook, it is already available for pre-order up on Amazon. You can go over there and pre-order that. And we are hoping to be able to get out on tour the last half of this year, out signing books, meeting and greeting you guys, coming out and talking with you and interacting with our audience. We've got a lot on the horizon for you, so please keep tuning in. Thank you for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives, serving up true crime one dish at a time. Bye, guys. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.